Together we chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verses 11 to 20.
तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता। अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वामृषयः सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिम् विदुर्देवान दानवाः स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानम् वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावनभूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमांस्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम् विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम् श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठः नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च
We have been reading about the great inspiration that Arjuna is going through. It is a step on the path of this journey where it all just sounds very good to us, and we revel in hearing it, and we feel that this is so wonderful. And such people usually talk also a lot about it. You'll see people who come new to the class. They talk also about a lot about it. So this is exactly the stage that Arjuna is going through. He's very inspired. He finds it wonderful. He's talking a lot. He's not allowing the Lord to speak. So this is exactly what desire does. It prevents us from gaining what we want. And but this is a stage. It's an inspiring stage until the knocks and shocks of the world knock you again and tell you, okay, move. Just saying how great this is not going to work. You better put in the hard work. But in this stage, you just want to hear it all. Just want to hear it. You revel in hearing. And it's a good stage to be in the sense at least the mind has developed the interest in the subject. So now he is saying, Sarvam Rutam Manye. I believe it to be Rutam. Rutam means a truth. Truth sounds like a very, very sad interpretation of it. So, of course, it is the right word. Rutam. Rutam means something in order, something that is following the right sequence. It is the full order of the universe comes under this word Rutam. It's all going in perfect order, whatever you're saying. Sarvam Rutam Manye. As we discussed last time, Rutam is a very important concept from the Vedas, where it talks about how we have to follow the laws of Prakriti, how we have to, and if you don't, you get Udara dosha, you get pleurisy, you get things like that. So when you follow, go along Bhumi, I think you're not muted. When you follow the rhythm, when you follow the right order, there's a right method, there's a right order for everything. You cannot violate that. There's a time for, what should I say, maybe having children. Now, if at 70 you want to have children, you're violating the rhythm of it. Or 80, you want to have children. There's a time, there's a place for everything. There's a time to eat your food. There's a time to abstain. There's a time to study. There's a time to work. There is a proper order in everything in this world. And when you follow that order, the natural order of things, that's why we say get up in the morning and study. I mean, you can study any time in the day, right? You're studying, so what's the big deal? No, if you get up in the morning, it follows the rhythm of studying, the right, the right, can I call the right cycle? That is why the ritus, the ritus, the seasons, that word ritu comes from rutam because it's following its natural cycle, its natural order. So, sarvam rutam manni, I find everything that you are saying is rutam, is the truth. But okay, you feel, when you read it, you'll say, okay, Baba, it's all very good that you're finding it so nice, but let him speak, so we learn something. So they said, no. Sarvam rutam manye. You are so great, you are so this, you are so that. So verse 15 exalts him. He says, you verily know yourself by yourself, because only the self knows itself. The body, mind, and intellect cannot know the self. Just as a torch can shine on everything but the hand that holds it. So the body, mind, intellect can give us knowledge of this world, but how will it give us knowledge of the subject within us, which enwithens us? Can't be done. So you yourself know yourself by yourself. In other words, no one can know you. In other words, the self divinity is not an object of perception or emotion or thought. It's not an object of perception, emotion, or thought, means that you cannot perceive it with your senses. It's not an object. You can't see it or hear it or taste it or touch it or feel it. You cannot feel it as an emotion in the mind. Many people feel, I say, I feel so divine in your presence, or I went to this place and such divine vibes. It's not divinity, whatever else it is. It's not an emotion that you feel. Neither is it a comprehension for the intellect. You cannot understand what that self is. You cannot understand what that transcendental reality is. We cannot understand who is the subject within us, who is able to perceive all these objects of perception, of emotion, of not able to know that. Because what we are using at the moment to know that is the body, mind, intellect. We're using an object. Can't hear again? Now what? Now is it any better?
Not
Good
really,
or not?
Janki ji.
Huh?
Yeah, there is an echo at times.
Now is it any better? Is it good or not good? Everybody's having this problem.
Yes, this is slightly better.
Okay.
It's
What?
fine, Janki ji. I think Ashia has an echo while in her, because when she's talking also there's an echo. But I'm not getting an echo. Ashya, it's just check because I think she's got an echo when she's speaking also.
Oh, okay. So everybody is good. I see there's a lot of. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear. Oh, y'all are saying is glitchy. Uttara, what is glitchy? Good. Okay. Uh, it's coming and going. The voice fades at the end. Ah. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. So I don't know what works and doesn't in this game. So you can tell me. Are we doing better?
Yeah, while you are talking, Janki ji, it sounds better now.
Now it's better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So where were we? The self is not an object of perception, emotion, or thought. It is that in us which enables us to perceive or feel emotion or think thoughts. It is my original nature. It is who I am. It is the ultimate subject. This body, mind, and intellect is not me. So this body, mind, intellect cannot perceive what I am, who I am. My grandeur cannot be known. Then who will know it? The self knows itself by itself. The self knows itself. Nothing else can know it. By itself means it doesn't require any organ to know it. No body. It doesn't require anything other than itself to know. It's a little difficult, no, to get the comprehension of that. Those who have been attending may have some idea. Those who are relatively new, try and see it like this. If you are dreaming, you are using that dream body, mind, and intellect to understand, to perceive anything that is happening in the dream. If your guru in your dream tells you that, you know, this person you are in the dream with all your particular characteristics, let's say that in the dream you are an Olympic runner and you're maybe winning the Olympic gold medal, let's say, for argument. So this person, and let's give this person a name. Let's call this person Kinnari. Now, in the dream, the dreamer's name is Kinnari. She is in the Olympics and she has just won the Olympic gold medal. But actually, the Kinnari of the dream is Uttara in her waking state. So somebody tells Kinnari that you are not Kinnari, you are Uttara. You're with me as far as the example goes? You go to sleep. Your name in the dream is Kinnari. Now Kinnari is using her body, mind, intellect of the dream to see whatever is going on in the dream. Her guru there says, you know what, Kinnari, you can't use this body, mind, intellect to know the waker, to know Uttara. She can't understand. Everything I know over here, I know through my body, mind, intellect. If I don't use my body, mind, and intellect to know Uttara, then how will I know her? To which, what will the guru in the dream say? You don't need the dreamer's body, mind, and intellect to know the waker. In fact, when the dreamer's body, mind, intellect is no more, then you will know the way. Everyone's clear about the example? You don't need the waker's body, mind, intellect to know the wake. You don't require the dreamer's body, mind, and intellect to know the wake. Isn't that correct? When you woke up this morning, did you need that dream body, mind, intellect to know you? The waker knows himself by himself.
Very nice example, Janki ji. We really understand this better.
Okay, good. Everyone is clear about the example? When you get up in the morning, you do not require the dreamer's body, mind, intellect to tell you that you are awake. Early, when you get to the fourth plane of consciousness, you do not require this body, mind, intellect to tell you that you are there. So he says, you know yourself by yourself. You do not require the body, mind, intellect. Now, important thing in this is that we understand it when it comes to this. I believe you have now understood it. But when someone tells you, I saw God, you swallow it. You say, I heard God. He spoke to me. You swallow it. How come? It's like the dreamer saying, I saw the waker. I heard the waker. I met the waker. I understood the waker. Is that ever possible? And yet we believe, some people say, I had breakfast with God. So if you hear things like that, you must know whoever they had breakfast with certainly wasn't God. Because God is not an object of perception, emotion. That's what he said. You know yourself by yourself. O Purushottama. Purushottama, or best amongst the Purusha. What is the best among Purusha? Purusha means human. So who is the best among Purusha? Obviously the self. Because what is the best thing about us? O Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana means from where all the Bhuta, where all the beings have come. It is from the waker's mind that the entire dream has come forth. So who is the Bhuta Bhavan of the dream? It is the waker's mind. Who is the Bhuta Bhavan of this world? It is the self. It is from the self that all these beings have come. Just as from the rope comes the snake. Just as from the desert comes the mirage. There's no cause and effect relationship. And yet it comes from it. You can't say the self causes the world, because it doesn't. Just as the rope doesn't cause the snake, but still the snake has come because of the rope. When a young boy slips, sees a rope and thinks it's a snake, somebody else may think it's a crack in the ground. Somebody else may think it's a twig, isn't it? But this crack in the ground, the snake, the twig, whatever in the world you think it is, where is it emanating from? It's really emanating from that rope, because if that rope wasn't there, you wouldn't think of all these things. In that sense, unless the self is there, unless the reality is there, how can you misunderstand it to be something? So therefore the reality, the truth, the Lord, God is known as Bhuta Bhavan, from whom all this creation has come. It is the Bhutesha. Bhutesha means Bhuta Isha. Bhutasya Isha. Why is he the Lord of beings? He is the Lord of beings because no being can function without the self. Without the enlivening power of the self, who can do what? Without electricity, which electrical gadget can work? Without petrol, the cars won't move. Therefore, electricity is the bhutesha of the electrical gadgets, and petrol is the bhutesha of the cars. After some time, we won't be able to use this example, so please understand it now. All the electric vehicles will come and we'll have to change the example. So please understand it now while we're still using petrol. Otherwise, after some time in class, somebody is bound to ask, oh, but cars can go on electricity too. So this is an example to show that all movement of the cars happens because of petrol. Every functioning of an electrical gadget is because there is electricity. Otherwise, it will all just close down. No shade. Practically, if I do our action and fulfilling obligations, live a sattvic life by extending myself and lowering my expectations, will I not move towards the self or till desires drop to one desire? Practically, if I do our action and fulfilling my obligations, live a sattvic life by extending myself and lowering my, will I not move towards the self till desires drop to one desire? I don't know, Shiv. Maybe, maybe not. I don't see how people are supposed to achieve anything without having the goal of achieving it. So if you just do your obligations, live a sattvic life, meaning by sattvic life, what you have written is you extend yourself, you serve people, you lower your expectations from people. Will you move towards the self? I don't know. You can get involved in that life. It will be a beautiful life if you live it like that. You'll be so happy, so blissful. It will be called the bonds of sattva. That's what he calls it. We're getting there later on. So the bonds of sattva are happiness. So happy. If you live like this, you'll live a very happy life. But whether you will work towards self-realization or not, because you are doing this, may or may not. Some people will, some people won't. Yeah, I mean, you can keep on adding other factors, Noshir, but the critical factor is, are you seeking the self? Because that is the important thing. When you say without attachment to that will not arise only if you have a higher cause involved. Otherwise, there is no way. How will you be without attachment? If you are not able to conceive, you means any one of us are not able to conceive something higher than what we are currently doing, then there is no way we are going to be detached from whatever it is we are doing. And as you grow higher and higher, it becomes more and more difficult, right, to be unattached. Because when you do service, you get attached. When you do bhajans, you get attached. When you do Vedanta, you get attached. And you can't help it unless you have the higher in mind. Okay? Yeah, you keep sort of emphasizing the word practically, Noshir. This is about understanding, not so much about action. When the understanding is in place, the action will be in place. So what you will do will be dependent on so many factors. But if that doing has to take us to the self, then the understanding has to. Okay. Deva Deva. Deva Deva means the God of God. If somebody had raised their hand to ask a question, you still have a question?
Yeah, Janki ji, it's me, Salil.
Yeah, go ahead, Salil.
So, like you said, I think that what the experiences we have in the dream state are, I mean, if I understand correctly, these are borrowed from the impressions or the experiences of our waking state, perhaps arranged in a different narrative. Is that correct?
I couldn't hear what you said.
So, if kindly tell me if my understanding is correct, the experiences of our dreaming state, they are in a way borrowed or a narrative arranged in a different way of our experiences in the waking state or the impressions in the waking state. Is that correct?
It is correct but irrelevant.
So my question
Salil, follow the line of thought. Okay,
No,
because this is so many questions you can ask about these things, but follow line of thought. Otherwise, you'll never get there. You know, I've already answered this question for you multiple times. So, unless we stay with the line of thought, you know, every time we hear something in philosophy, our mind goes to something else. And there's so many interesting areas where you can have questions. But we all have to train ourselves to just stay on the flow of thought. So if you have a question directly pertaining to the flow of thought, we'll take it now. If you have a question which is not directly pertaining to the flow of thought, then we'll take it at the beginning of the class. Like, you know, right in the beginning, you can ask a general question.
So, I mean, I think it's relevant. Not sure if you'll agree, but because you spoke about the experience of the waking state also. So, I mean, the waking state is also a dream. So, where are the experiences of the waking state borrowed from? Where is what we experience during the waking state?
It's the same way place where it comes in the dream, vasanas. But no, again, it's not relevant because what we are talking about now is trying to explain the point. What is the point we're trying to get at? The only point we're trying to get at over here is that the dream body mind intellect does not understand the wake up. That's the topic. Okay, it is not why do dreams come or why does the waking world come. It is the topic. Why we brought it at all is because we are just talking about how the dreamer's body mind intellect is not required to know the wake up. Somebody else was also saying something. Omkar, were you trying to say something?
No, I was trying to draw your attention to Salil's question, Salil's hand.
So, sorry?
So I was trying to draw your attention to Salil. He had raised his hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Thank you. Okay, so where were we now? Oh, God of gods. So in Indian tradition, we had this concept of God and gods. God, as in singular, with a capital G, is the ultimate reality, the self, Brahman, Atman, called in other religions by different names. Islam calls it Allah. Christianity calls it the Father in heaven. Zoroastrianism calls it Ahura Mazda. Buddhism calls it shunyata. Whatever in the world you choose to call it. Vaishnavites call it Vishnu, Shaivites call it Shiva. Whatever in the world you wish to call it, it is that ultimate reality which is beyond our cognition. Okay, so that's the singular capital G God. Now, India has 33 crore gods. Who are these 33 crore gods? They have to be understood as the manifestation of that ultimate reality. Okay. In other words, everything in this world. So you can take gods to be all the phenomenal powers, such as the wind, the sun, wealth, knowledge. So wind god, sun god, Surya Devata, knowledge, Saraswati, Lakshmi, wealth, Shiva, destruction, whichever way you're using it, okay? And Vishnu, maintenance, and Brahma, creation, whatever. The trees are God, the people tree, the what is it, Tulsi plant, Devi, so many. I mean, now these gods sometimes are used also to represent the ultimate reality, okay? But generally, they are used to mean these phenomenal powers. You can also use them to mean ultimate reality because they are. After all, at the end of the day, everything, you and I and all these powers and everything is the self. So you can say anything. We can say Tinky. We can start saying, worshipping Tinky and saying that's the self. Because it doesn't matter what you call the self. Anyway, nobody understands it. It's beyond our cognition. Anything can be used. So Devi can be used to mean the goddess of Annapurna, the one who supplies us all the food, means all the sense objects, or can be used to mean the transcendental reality. So in India, all the thing is divinized. Every single aspect is divinized and given a name and told us that it is God. Because the word Deva literally means illuminate. So when taken in that sense, who is the illuminator of the world? It is your senses. So the Devas represent the sense. Okay, so there are multiple ways of looking at it. But whichever way you want to take the word Devas in plural, the self is the God of them all. Whether you take it in the sense of all the phenomenal powers or you take it in the sense of the senses, the self is the ultimate indivisible principle. So he is the God of gods. You can take gods also to mean limited aspects of this world. So he is the God of gods. Whichever God you choose, he is there. He is the God of that one ultimate transcendental reality, which can be called by any name, but is that ultimate truth that is beyond our cognition. So you can call it any name you want. O ruler of the world. O ruler of the world, meaning that this world is nothing but a bunch of laws. And all these laws work so meticulously that it makes us take pause and ask this question. How are these laws working so meticulously? They seem to be paying obeisance to some governor that we do not. So he must be that ultimate ruler in whose presence all these laws work so well. See, whenever you see a place which is running well, you go to Singapore, you see it's running beautifully, then you know there's a governor. You know there is somebody governing that place. So when you look at the world, you think, How are all these laws functioning so meticulously? They never go wrong. Never goes wrong. How come? So you put it therefore and say there is a ruler, there is a governor, and that ultimate reality must be that governor. It is because of that ultimate governor that all this is working. Okay, so that is verse 15. Now verse 16. Now you're all clear with verse 15. Anyone has a problem with verse 15? If you have a question on verse 15, then you can put it in the chat. Vaktumarhasya sheshena divyahyatmavibhutayaha yabhivibhyutilokan iman swam vapya tishtasi vaktumarhasya sheshena दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां स्वं वाप्यतिष्ठसि. Vaktum, speak. Vaktum, tumanta, to speak. Vaktum, arhasi, asheshena. You must speak. Asheshena. Shesh, you understand, right? Without anything left. Kuch baki nahi raha, like that. So ashesha. Ashesha means nothing left. So you must speak. Omkar, you 1 to 17. You must speak without leaving anything. Tell me everything, in other words. Divya, he, Atma Vibhutayaha. Excuse me, Divya, you're divine. Atma Vibhutayaha. Vibhutayaha, plural of Vibhuti. So tell me your Vibhutis, tell me your glories. Let me understand about you. Last verse he said, you can only know yourself by yourself. This verse he says, tell me your glory so that I can know you. See, this guy doesn't listen to himself. This is the nature of most students. They don't listen to themselves. If you listen to yourself, you yourself will think, "Arey, ye kaise main bol raha hu?" But you know, our poor friend Arjuna is a bit confused. He says, you tell me your glories. Tell me all your glories. Yabhihi vibhuti virlokan, by which these worlds, these lokan, the worlds, vyapyam tishtati. Tvam vyapyam tishtam tishtati. Tvam, you, vyapyam, pervade. Tishtasi, you sit. What a beautiful construction, no? Having pervaded everything, you sit. It's a very, very strange construction. So what is it saying? It's saying that you exist as the all-pervading. You exist as the all-pervading. Tell me, O Lord, tell me your glory. But if I have to exist as the all-pervading, what glories can I tell? Isn't it? What is he supposed to tell? He himself saying, Imam Lokam, Lokan, Vyapya. Vyapya. Vyapya means pervade. Having pervaded. I hope you're able to see the irony of this. The Lord pervades everything, according to Arjuna. Now he's telling me, tell me your glories. Arey Baba, if I pervade everything, if this statement is true, then my glory is the whole thing, right? What is not my glory over here? Everything is my glory here. If somebody is being extremely wicked, I pervade it. And then like, look at how beautifully he can be wicked. Somebody is being extremely good. I pervade it. See how beautifully he is being good. So what is the Lord supposed to say? You will see what he says and how well he answers the question. Sometimes you yourself think, Baba, why doesn't this fellow listen to what he's saying? Are you able to see what he's saying? He's saying, you pervade everything. Now tell me your glories. You pervade everything, then what glories am I to tell you? The whole thing is my glory only. If you see the massive Himalayas, whose glory is it? The Lord's. If you see a terrible tsunami, whose glory is it? It's the Lord's. If you see a good man doing good things, or you see a bad man doing bad things, you see a hot-tempered person being hot-tempered and a very calm person being very calm, whose glory is it? You see a great giver giving a lot. You see a great miser saving a lot. Whose glory is it? Whose glory is it? Whole thing is His glory. You see a very wise man. Whose glory is that wisdom? You see a very ignorant person. Whose glory is that wisdom? Is that ignorance? In everything, the best, the worst, and everything in between, it is His and His glory alone. So what glories is He asking for? He says, oh Krishna, you should speak. Why is He saying you should speak? Why is He saying you should speak? When will you tell somebody you should speak?
He is totally not understanding anything.
Will you tell me now as I'm talking to you, you should speak? When will you tell me you should speak?
And someone is not speaking.
When someone is quiet,
If at all you wish to tell me that, when will you tell me that?
When you
are not
find yourself
listening,
different
not listening,
duality.
What happened to you all?
not
Many
listening.
people are putting on their
When I'm
unmuting
ready to
themselves, but nobody's saying anything. Or am I not hearing something?
When you're not listening,
when I'm ready to listen,
Are you all speaking and I'm not hearing? Is that what the problem is?
yes,
yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, Janki ji.
Yes, yes,
But
yes,
I
Jan.
can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? What happened here? Oh, this is gone, is it? Okay, now can you all say,
When you're not listening,
when I'm not listening,
yeah,
When you stop
why will you
speaking.
tell? When you stop speaking. When I don't speak, you will tell me, no, you should speak. Meera, if I'm not speaking, then why will you tell me? When I'm not listening, why will you tell me to speak? You will tell me, shut up and listen. Isn't it? So when will you tell me, say you should speak? So why is Krishna not speaking?
Because he understood that he's not listening.
Because his chap is not giving him a chance to speak. How can he speak? He's talking so much. He's going on and on saying something. How can the poor fellow speak? So he says, Momita, don't have to get so philosophical. Why? When will you tell somebody to speak? Simple. Because he's keeping quiet. So if people are not telling us to speak, what does it mean?
you're talking too much.
We are talking too much. Correct. So what do you learn from Krishna from this?
You should listen to others also.
you should listen.
Keep quiet.
Sequence us to.
Learn to be silent. Because the moment you learn to be silent, you will learn to control this world. Learn to be silent. Throughout the Gita, Krishna teaches us that. He just keeps quiet. First full chapter, he just kept quiet. Now also Arjuna is all taken with this. He just keeps quiet. A very long spiel from Arjuna over here. Because Krishna is very quiet. That quietude doesn't come because he says nothing with his lips. That quietude comes from deep within himself. He is quiet from within. He's quiet from within means there is no reaction. Why do we blurt out whatever we are blurting out? Why do we blurt out everything?
Too many desires.
It's too much reaction to what is going on. Too much reaction. So we blurt out. Where is the reaction coming from? Because we want something and we don't want something.
Restless mind wandering from one thing to another.
Yeah. It's too much reaction to what is going on around in this world. Somebody says something, you have to react. Some people are not even saying it to us, even then we react. Somebody is walking on the road. Okay, two youngsters are walking on the road hand in hand. We have a reaction. Oh, look at them, they're walking hand in hand. So why have I got a reaction? उनको करने दो ना जो करना है मेरा ना देना ना देना उनसे. I don't know them. Something or the other, there is a reaction, even though it got nothing to do with me. Suppose your sister-in-law buys a diamond, a nice diamond necklace. Then you and your husband are talking, or you and your friends are talking. Dekha, kitna expensive they are. All these people, they are very materialistic. They love to buy all these things. I am not interested in diamonds. Yeah, but why is there any reaction? Somebody using their own money bought something they wanted. So, mera kya jata hai? But we have an opinion somehow. What happened? Voice is gone?
No, it's completely clear.
We can hear.
And you're okay. Good Lord. So, why am I reacting? And when I do react, it's there on my tongue immediately. There is no reaction from Krishna. If you say, I won't fight the war also, there's no reaction from him. Can you imagine that? No reaction. Whether you fight the war or you don't fight the war, he goes home and he sleeps quite peacefully. Though Krishna is not talking here, he's teaching us a lot. Without saying anything, he's communicating if we have the ears to hear. And if we learn to be withdrawn, if we learn to be quiet, if we learn to not react to everything, then we will be the conquerors of the world. Literally. Now, this is very interesting, his question. He says, tell me your glories. Even though he says you're all pervading. If the Lord is all pervading, if he has never left us, if he is there every moment from our birth to our death, everything that we have seen or heard or smelt or tasted or touched, he has been there. Every emotion that we have felt, good and bad, pleasurable and displeasurable, he has been there. Every thought that we have had, he has been there. He has been there so much. Then how have we missed him? How did we miss him? Imagine somebody is with you all the time and you don't know. Yourself is with you all the time. You don't know. How come? Doesn't it give us pause, make us think? How come? Why don't I see the divinity if it is everywhere? We don't see the divinity that is everywhere because
one needs
Covered
the
with
right,
desire.
one needs the right vision.
We are
to
in the
see.
dream world.
okay,
Because it's everywhere.
because it's everywhere. Very good, Bharat. Because it's everywhere. What do you miss most? You miss what is always there. See, suppose I take this. Okay? Can you see? Can you see this thing? I'm putting this pouch here. Oops, I put this thing here. Can you see it? Now, can you tell me what is there? What is this thing that is there?
Pouch plus light.
Okay. Okay. You can, yes. You can tell me, no, that there is a pouch here. A nice pouch in which this mic is kept. Pouch. You can see it. You can remove it. You put it. You remove it. It's not there. It's there now. It's not there. It's there now. What have you all missed? It's the hand that holds it. It cannot be there unless the hand is there. Can't see the hand. It's always. When I remove the pouch, you say there is nothing there. When I put the pouch back, the pouch is there. But is it true that there is nothing there when the pouch is removed? Cannot see what is always there. The best way to hide is to be in plain sight. Plain. If I ask you what is in your room right now, you tell me there's a table, there's a chair, there's a bed, there's a cupboard, there's a lamp, there's curtains, there's filament, there is, I don't know, what all you'll say. How many of you will mention oxygen? What is always there is not. So, while he is saying you're always there, you have pervaded it all. Tell me your glories. What is it? Anything that is glorious in this world is me only. What am I supposed to tell you? You get fed up with Arjuna. Hey, Baba, you just said I am all pervading. So if I'm all pervading, anything glorious has to be me. Anything not glorious also has to be me. So what's your problem in life? You tell him. Krishna doesn't say all that. He explains, he answers the question. So now I see a lot of stuff over here coming along. Yeah, Chandrasekhar. 1 second, no sheer resolution. Unless I keep quiet and listen without judging, I will not learn about the other person. Calm mind and learning. Wise people think carefully before speaking, but do not speak all they think. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, Hari Om, Janki ji. So my question to you is, you just gave this example of pouch and hand. So we are not able to find God in our life because we have no mechanism to understand its existence. So I don't find any problem. I mean, then what is the solution for that? Like, right? You are saying that God is with us everywhere, but if we don't know how to find it, then how can we prove its existence?
By approaching a wise master and learning from it. How will we know anything? Einstein tells us E is equal to mc squared. Now, how will we know this? We cannot just see it and know it. We will have to undertake the whole process to finally understand what that statement says. So you approach a master, means you get educated. In the traditional way, they say approach a guru, Shotriya Brahmanishta, someone who is well versed in the scriptures and is established in the truth. In today's modern language, we would say educate yourself on it. Once you educate yourself on something, you begin to see it. What is your educational background, Chandrasekhar?
I'm an engineer.
Engineer. Okay.
Yeah.
Which engineer?
Mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer. So, Chandrasekhar, when you look at a mechanical object, you see so many things that none of us see. So, how come you see it and we don't? Because you are educated in that. You see a bridge, you know what something, you'll know about how much steel they put into it or something. How it's standing up there. It doesn't seem to be having anything, but it still seems to be standing over there. What are the differences between the whole thing? If we go to, what is that, Golden Gate Bridge, we say, oh, how pretty. If you go to Golden Bridge, you will say something completely different. How do you see what we don't see? Because you're educated in that. So the moment you get educated in the subject, you begin to see things that other people cannot see in it. So what do? How do you solve the problem? By getting educated.
Got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Is the guardian angel also representative of the Supreme? Everything in the world is Rukma. As we come to hear, the guardian angel is with you. Yes, guardian angel means it's a very poetical way of saying your intellect. Your intellect is your guardian. It takes care of you. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is compared to the hard shell of a tortoise. Whenever there's danger, you come under it. You pull all your extroverted equipment under the introverted equipment. The extroverted equipments are what? The five senses, always looking at the world, and the mind, always looking at the world. All these six protrusions you bring under the supervision of your intellect, and the intellect will save you. It's your guardian. It will tell you the right course of action, and it will save you from any trouble. But if you have starved it and chained it and refused to let it even free, how will this guardian help us? So unchain that intellect within. Okay. So that's it for today.